Thanks everyone for joining us again. We're now looking at the items inside the Missouri Time Capsule. This was something that we just opened up just a little bit ago. It's the first time these items have seen light in 100 years. This was sealed in the cornerstone of the state capitol building in 1915. And here in 2015, we're able now to take a look at what they put in. We're going to pull these items out, and obviously they need to be handled very delicately. And we'll try to do our best to explain items and what we're seeing, what we're finding as we pull them out. We have staff from the Missouri State Archives that are going to be handling these materials, and many of them will be on display at a later time for the public to enjoy.
This is the contract and specifications for the Capitol. That's one of probably the more significant documents, or one of the significant documents in the group. Series of newspapers here. It appears that many of them were dated from right before, the day before this capsule was sealed and entombed.
You can see here, I'll try to get close for you. The date on this paper is June 23rd, 1915. Yeah, looking here, we have a report of the State Treasurer of Missouri from 1915, as well as a report from the State Auditor's Office. And a report from the Department of Insurance. A lot of this are going to be government documents from the day. You can see they're needing to be very delicate and careful as we remove these items. Everything is in really great condition. That's something we've been very pleased to see. The box certainly did its job, and they did a great job of sealing this 100 years ago.
Oh, the photographs.
Yeah, open those up. Everything that we see here will be saved, including the box, the materials that they used to seal it, even the string probably that you see wrapped around some of these materials. This time capsule is from 1915. It's been sealed for 100 years in the cornerstone of the state capitol building. There's a copy of the Constitution that actually has the date 1909.
It's much shorter than.
If there's any questions that anyone has about any of these materials as we're pulling them out or about the time capsule itself, feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll try to get them answered by the experts from the State Archives. This looks to be the House Journal from 1911, the 46th General Assembly. Want to know how we extracted the box from the cornerstone?
Cut into the cornerstone through the various layers in the state capitol from the interior of the cornerstone.
Yes, we did know the box was there. This was something that was documented when it was originally sealed. Take a look as well. You can see the time capsule here, nearly empty from all the items. It is interesting to think what you would put in a time capsule now for 100 years from now, and we're actually going to do that. We're going to be sealing a new time capsule on July 3rd, and you can go to mo.gov/timecapsule to send us your ideas of what we should include in that time capsule to be sealed for 100 years. You can also use hashtag #MoTimeCapsule on Twitter. Looks like we have some other items here.
Eric, this is a surprise. At least from, let's put it between a couple of items. We don't know. There you go.
Looks like something from the Missouri Freemasons.
We were told that they're Masons as part of their rituals.
Appendix of House and Senate journals from the 46th Assembly in 1911. That is all the items out of the time capsule. You can see the empty box here.
Because it doesn't feel like sand or soil.
There is actually a slight smell, musky,
Yeah.
I would say.
Mold, but who's going to mention that? Not me. Pretty comfortable.
An idea what this is over here?
None at all. It's not mentioned as on the list of what they put in there.
Yeah, this is a mystery item for us.
It was placed in by the Masons.
Placed in by the Masons, and it does say East Gate Lodge of 6:30 AF.
8:30.
Uh,
Nope, you're right.
yeah, 6:30 AF and AM, Kansas City, Missouri.
The Masons were involved in placing it in the cornerstone.
I believe there is a Bible here. I don't think that the large book that you're seeing over there in the corner is. That actually is the journals from the legislature. The Bible is actually over here. You can see also the Missouri Blue Book from 1913-1914 as the official manual of the state of Missouri. And then some reports from other commissions like the Public Service Commission. Oh, and another blue book from 1911-1912, the Missouri Red Book, which focuses on labor statistics.
This is also seems to be a Masonic publication here.
No, we don't see any money buried in the time capsule.
It seems to be a Masonic newsletter.
Now, a lot of these items are from prior 1915. The capsule is actually sealed in 1915, but we see some items from 1911, 1913, 1914, really trying to capture the spirit and the culture of the time. And that's something we're going to try to do with our next time capsule to be buried on July, or to be sealed, I'm sorry, on July 3rd. And you can submit your ideas to what include in that time capsule at mo.gov/timecapsule or by sharing them on Twitter using the hashtag #MoTimeCapsule. Just to give another look at where these items came from, this capsule was sealed in the cornerstone of the state capitol. It was made out of copper, and that'd be very delicate as they opened it because the box itself is something that we want to conserve.
I think many people are interested in. Several people are interested in the photographs to know what's in there. The list told us that there would be photographs of the old and new Capitol during its construction period at that time. We have a lot of photographs, but what we've all wondered is whether or not these would be ones that don't exist. So one of our conservators is going to check, because sometimes paper that looks okay is in fact just incredibly brittle and fragile. So she's going to test and see whether it can be safely opened, and if so, then we'll give people a look at the individual photos. We'll go as far as we can, but our priority is protecting the items.
And that extends to all the papers as well. Somebody asked about newspapers, and we do have some newspapers here from 1915 and perhaps earlier, but we need to be very careful and cautious as we examine those materials and let the conservatives have the first crack at them. But it is exciting to see what this book of photographs will be. And over here we have some of the newspapers that somebody was asking about. You can see this, at least top one is a city journal. It's dated on June 23rd, 1915.
Do over. I'm going to see if I can separate the.
Oh, sure.
But I'm going to go over there.
If you have any other questions about the materials, feel free to leave them as comments. I'm curious where everybody is watching from. We saw somebody say hello from Canada.
Same thing with the newspapers. If they're not stuck together, I want to at least be able to let people take a look at. Oh, you want to follow her first? She's
Sure.
I'll come back in a second.
We're going to take a look at these photographs and see if we can get a good shot. It says Mr. Stevens, and it has a date on here actually saying 1913. Mr. Sneer, perhaps? Again, we're looking at photographs that were been found in the state time capsule. These have been sealed since 1915. Now it's hard for me to read exactly what it says. The governor? It's the governor from 1915. These photographs seem to be in great shape.
Better than your digital photos are going to be.
Does anyone know what these photos would be of? Did they mention?
Just the groundbreaking.
Oh, the groundbreaking of the Capitol? Oh, great. So yeah, somebody did ask that question, and yes, you are correct. This is actually from the groundbreaking of the Missouri State Capitol.
The first page was signed by T.G. Cooper, who took pictures of the Capitol at every stage of the building. He went to the same spot every 2 weeks or something like that and photographed it. And there's great classified negatives of most of those.
Wow. Yeah, this is a great throwback Thursday. That's a good point. You can see a Supreme Judge, I believe it says State Senator. There is the auditor.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to go to the Mexican American, or that's the border war.
Well, that concludes all the photos. I think we're going to take a look at some of the newspapers as well. We'll head over there. This is
Okay.
the Kansas City Journal, I think.
Yep.
This is from June 23rd, 1915. Take a look at some of these headlines.
Here, I'll sit down.
There was a flood crisis in Kaw and Missouri rivers that has now passed. Here's what the weather was. Temperature readings. And here's a copy of the Kansas City Star from 1915 as well. I would assume this is an evening edition.
Ah, it's the last sporting extra. Sports are the hot item.
Sports section from the Kansas City Star in 1915.
Too cold for the Packers.
Never would have thought a team from Green Bay would have a problem playing in the cold, but
June of 1915, it was too cold.
Icy weather forced postponement of today's double bill.
in Buffalo, I think.
Ah,
We could see sports scores of the day that St. Louis beat Brooklyn 2-1 in baseball.
we're not gonna.
Okay. Yeah. Some of these are definitely so delicate that we're best not to go too far with
It's
them.
about the cornerstone ceremony, though. Over 12,000 people attended the cornerstone ceremonies. The Jefferson City Democrat. See a little picture of it.
You can see a photo here of the building of the state capitol. This is from the Jefferson City Democrat. Yeah, go ahead.
There are, I can't remember, Sanders.
Take a look at this. This is the Kansas City Journal, actually. And their front page includes some stories about war loans made aiding the United States and the weather of the day, or of the previous day. And the Kansas City Star have a sports section. You can see box scores from the baseball games.
I was gonna say we can call Michelle and she can bring bags from Riverside.
This would be the Kansas City Times.
The morning.
Morning edition of the Kansas City Star. There was an earthquake in California.
I'm gonna lay it down now.
Somebody asked about a price for the newspaper. You can see up here in the corner, the price is in the city 1 cent, and outside Kansas City would be 2 cents. Oh, sure.
This one is actually June 24.
This is the day that it was sealed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a newspaper of the day that this time capsule was sealed, June 24th, 1915.
Mm-hmm.
You can see some stories here from World War I.
Other than newspapers here,
And again, following up with the price, you can see that inside St. Louis, this paper was 1 penny, and outside St. Louis, it was 2. Or you could buy it on a train for 3 cents.
Flip it.
Oh, yeah, whatever you think is best.
Actually established by the Missouri Press Association to preserve papers.
This newspaper is from St. Louis. Fair to say, I think, yeah. Can you speak to the condition of these? They seem to be in great shape.
They are in better shape than I expected. I expected them to be a lot drier and crisper. They're a little, and they're not that bad. The challenge is going to be flattening them, opening them up and flattening them. And we have a procedure in the conservation lab where we sort of gently introduce humidity in a vapor form so that we very slowly open them up without cracking. My guess is that even the way that they feel, they probably would crack if we opened them up.
Again, this paper is also from June 24th, 1915. That was the day this time capsule was sealed in the cornerstone of the state capitol. And yes, this does look like it's World War I coverage.
Nice little cartoon or drawing. I love the template headline.
Someone testifying to their own sanity.
Yeah. And 12 others testify he's sane.
The prosecutor is still saying that he is morally perverted, though.
The Kansas City Post, also of June 23rd.
That's it.
See an article in the news that you guys, that's kind of cool to get a high res of other some so.
It's fun to decide what's what.
The date of this is actually on the other side, but it looks like it was from June 23rd, 1915.
Yep.
And it looks, this is a great headline from the day. Courts by Wire calls clerk from bed and weds in record time. This is the front page story. Above the fold, right next to 14 are killed in earthquake in California.
Backside.
Right next to Lindbergh falling.
You see a head like that nowadays.
Somebody was looking for the date, just to confirm, this is June 23rd, 1915, so a day prior to this, the time capsule being sealed. And if you're curious about what the weather was for the day, it was going to be cloudy that night, and Thursday possibly with light showers, a little bit like we're dealing now, actually.
St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Also the 23rd. They're covering the same day too.
This is from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch from June 23rd. Again, we see reports about the earthquake in California. You see reports also from Europe about World War I.
This here. St. Louis Times, also on the 23rd.
Yes, we are seeing some morning and evening editions. I know we saw that from Kansas City. I believe that's also the same for St. Louis. And yes, there is a old St. Louis Post-Dispatch that you can see on the left part of the screen. Over here is a St. Louis Post-Dispatch. And over here is actually the St. Louis Times.
Yes, super.
For those that were looking for prices of the day, 1 cent. For those that are just joining, we're actually examining the materials that are been uncovered from the state time capsule in Missouri that was sealed in 1915 in the cornerstone of the state capitol building.
Sandra, your list. We saw from the report at the time of the time capsule that there was one German language newspaper, and that's obviously this one. And its name was West. Oh, you're the German speaker.
Put it on the other side.
So we do have a German newspaper that was in the time capsule.
Westlicher Post.
Can you say that one more time?
Westlicher
Westlicher
Post.
Post. Now, right now, we're just examining basically the front pages, but we're not going to be unfolding any of the newspapers. They're still too delicate, and they're going to need a little more careful attention before they can be examined that way. Just like another St. Louis Post-Dispatch, continued reports about the earthquake on the Pacific coast of California. There's a great headline here: "Burglar laughs as he admits $5,000 thefts." Committed the 12 robberies in 2 months.
This is the Daily Post from Jefferson City on June 23rd.
June 23rd, 1915.
Sandra, do you want to do the newspapers? Or you finish those? I mean, it's up to you. And I don't. He thought he was.
So that is all the newspapers. That are all the newspapers that were found in the
Nope,
time capsule.
not true.
Oh, no, we have a couple more left? Okay.
This is the Capital News from Jefferson City, May the 11th, 1915.
Maybe
for some
something
reason.
significant. It does have
Ah.
mention. Article on state capitol on page 4. So when you're able to open and take a look.
It was wrapped.
This is June 24th.
Looks like it's another capital. Oh, Daily Capital News. Looks like photos of the Capitol
I'll move it
construction.
down there.
This is actually from when they laid the cornerstone. Reports of 500 guests on special trains and automobiles and vehicles.
It's interesting.
One last one. This is the last. Also a Jefferson City paper, the Democrat Tribune from the 23rd,
Of Missouri.
and coverage of the event
I'll see if Sandra can read that.
from
Legislation.
And reports of a convict escaping.
He just wanted to go to the Cornerstone Lake.
Can I have him one more time so I can ask Sandra? Because
Now we saw some people asking about the books and the documents. We'll take a walk over to the other side of the table. That is all the newspapers that we're in. But over here you can see more items that we found in the time capsule. Most of these are manuals and reports from different government agencies. So looking here, we have a Bible.
Yep.
one of two of the blue books that were here. Blue book is the official manual for the state of Missouri. This one's from 1913-14.
Oh, it's sealed. Yes, then you're exactly.
This is the House Journal from the 46th General Assembly. This is from 1911.
Kansas City Star.
These items and the newspapers that we were reviewing earlier were recovered from the state capitol cornerstone, where a time capsule was sealed in 1915. So this is the first time in 100 years that any of these items have been available for anyone to
Kansas
see.
City Times. The morning. Kansas City Star.
There's a thing about the cornerstone.
On the 23rd. It says the morning Kansas City Star.
And this is the actual capsule. Had to cut into very delicately this morning to preserve the capsule itself as well as the items. It is made out of copper. A question from viewers: do we have any ideas about these letters that are over here, about what they contain or what they're from?
Yeah, their masthead was, or the typeface for their
This one says copy for Cornerstone, but I don't know what's in it.
Post-Dispatch, 23rd.
And then
This
this
one
is,
says Missouri Day.
and we haven't gotten this far.
Kansas City Post.
Date of the Mozart Musical Club. Date of. Number 549, affiliated with the State and National Federation of Musical Clubs and the first federated club in Jefferson City.
Thank you. Now, we won't be opening any of these items. They're going to need to be done, so cataloged and be done so very delicately. This time capsule was sealed in 1915, though few of the items are actually older than that. Some of these reports and books we can see from as old as 1911, 1912.
Like put city in parentheses maybe? Since it doesn't appear on the masthead.
And just to give a wide view of the entire contents, you can see all of these books and reports.
The Daily Post.
The capsule itself, and then a series of newspapers, most of them from right around this date 100 years ago, around June 23rd and June 24th. Now, many of these items, after they've been cataloged and have been examined, they will be on display at the Missouri State Archives.
No.
No?
Oh, at the press event?
Not at the press event.
The
but-
real display will be at the Capitol.
Oh,
Under
okay.
the State
My
Museums.
mistake, yeah. At the State Museum at the Capitol, okay.
Same with Star.
Now, on July 3rd, we're going to be sealing a new time capsule that will stay sealed for 100 years. And we invite you to share your ideas for what we can put in that time capsule by going to mo.gov/time capsule or by posting them to Twitter using hashtag #MoTimeCapsule.
Yeah, like, because it's talking about.
I believe you have until June 20th to submit those ideas.
Oh, the parade.
Yes, it talks in here about the new, state house over like 3.5 million.
Now, we don't really know what the tube
Yeah.
is.
And your project.
That's one that wasn't cataloged.
It just says Eastgate Lodge. 630.
Yeah, written on that tube is Eastgate Lodge 630 AF and AM, Kansas City, Missouri. Let's see, I thought they were saying some kind of Mason or Masonic,
It
but
was wrapped, or it was right around in here. That's where
Oh,
we
okay.
found it.
we won't be opening it today. So, but certainly check out later at the Missouri State Museum. See some newspapers from Kansas City. St. Louis. Many of these didn't cost more than a penny. There's actually one newspaper written in German. The dates of the newspaper vary. Usually most of them are around June 23rd to 24th from 1915. There's one or two that are from early as May. Generally those included some type of article about the building of the state capitol. I think that's going to do it for our stream. Thanks everybody for joining. Remind again, head to mo.gov/time capsule and you can submit your ideas for what to include in a time capsule that we're going to see on July 3rd. You can also submit your ideas using hashtag #MoTimeCapsule.
Pictures and video.
We'll get pictures and video on mo.gov later today. Thank you for joining us.